So my favorite thing about the Boise Egyptian Theater is Boise Classic Movies, where they take movies that are old and kind of like give new life to them and renew them and put them in a setting that you'd never think to go into. And then they have special events for those movies. So they play The Big Lebowski, and everyone shows up in their robes and dress up as characters. And there's this whole unique side of movies that you get to bring out to life that you don't get to do in a theater like Edwards. And they involve all sorts of fun gimmicks for it, and it's just a great thing to do on a Tuesday night.
Okay, so I remember my first experience. It was, I'm pretty sure it was Christmas Eve in the early 80s, and me and Dad and Dave Linger went downtown to the theater to see a movie that Warren Beatty was in. And it was a movie, Reds. Reds was the name of the movie. I remember it, and it was wonderful to be there because this great old building with all this cool stuff on the inside that, you know, coming from the Chicago area, I'd never seen anything like that before. So.
My first experience at the Egyptian Theater was going to see one of the Star Wars movies. It wasn't like a brand new release. It was had been out for a while. I think it was one of the older ones that they made in the 70s. And I wanted to go see it with my dad. And I remember walking into the theater and thinking it was huge because from the outside it didn't look that big. And noticing like all of the ornate detailing and decorations, and just it was a really cool, funky place. And I was used to like the multiplex type theaters that were kind of boring and always the same. And I remember thinking the theater was huge, and like there was a second tier of seats, and that it was so massive. Yeah, that's pretty much all I remember.
My first experience at the Egyptian Theater was for the silent movies that were shown with the pipe organist who came to town to entertain along with the silent movies. I was astounded by the interiors, as well as the whole experience of the building, including the lobby and the public spaces.
My first experience at the Egyptian Theater was not planned. I had been out experiencing one of the Boise 150 opening events, and afterwards my friend Ryan and I stopped by the Egyptian Theater. The show had already started, and the person at the front entrance said, "Go on in, you can have a seat." And so we went inside, and they were showing a silent version of a Charlie Chaplin film, and the Boise Philharmonic was accompanying the film. And that was in January of 2013, and that was really when I realized I had to learn more about this movie.